What is up, everybody? This is Caleb from Athanasia. I am here today to give you a little rundown of my guitars and guitar rig. To start off with, this is my #1 guitar. This is a Washburn Flying V model 1800 with a very special finish. A little backstory: the name of the album is The Order of the Silver Compass, which this guitar is the Silver Compass. So a little bit of trivia for you fans out there. I am using on this guitar Ernie Ball Super Slinkies 9-42, and yeah, there's my string of choice right here. Gauge 9, nothing special, regular old Slinkies. I have my own picks here with these cool little graphics on them, taken from our album artwork. Yeah, those are, I believe, 73. I like the Dunlop Tordex kind of powder coated finish. They seem to stick a little better on your fingers when you sweat live. From there, my signal goes into these pedals down here on the floor. Regular old Boss tuner, very useful for muting your guitar, also to avoid feedback and so on when you're talking in between songs, all that. I'm using a Rocktron Austin Gold Overdrive only for leads. I leave it off all the rest of the time. I just use it for a little more gain and sustain when I'm playing solos up high on the neck. Out of there, the signal goes back here into my effects rack. I also have a secondary tuner in the rack. That is a Korg DTR1. Sometimes I prefer to have that rather than, you know, a tuner on the floor if floor space is limited or something like that, or if you know, I have a tech backstage that needs to tune my guitars while I'm playing. They can plug into this secondary tuner. On down from there, there's a couple things that aren't in the signal chain. They're just hanging out to have a place to store them. From there, the signal goes into this Furman PQ6, very old parametric EQ from the late 70s, early 80s. I use that as a front end boost in front of my amps. Out of the PQ6, I'm going into this Rocktron Hush Super C noise gate. The thing with this EQ is it does add quite a bit of noise to the signal, so you really have to gate it down to avoid getting a ton of hum. The cool thing also about the Hush gate is that it has a stereo output, so you can use that to split the signal, which is what I'm doing to run my effects. So the channel A output from the gate feeds my first head over here, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the second output B from the gate is feeding my Fractal Audio Axe-Fx Ultra, which is a really great amp model device if you need to get a direct guitar sound, stuff like that. It also has very great effects, which is what I'm using it for presently. I'm running a slight delay doubler off of the Fractal. That is adding about 15 milliseconds of delay to one side of the output and about 30 milliseconds of delay to the second side output. Those two are feeding my second two amps, which you are seeing behind me now. Let's talk about amps. So basically what this equates to is a wet, dry, wet setup. I've got a dry signal coming out of the gate into this middle head, which is a 1978 Marshall Mark II Master 100 watt. The only thing that is not stock about this amp is that I've loaded KT88 power tubes into it. I find they have a little bit bigger bottom end and a little bit more attack on the top end, which is kind of nice for my dry sound. My wet sound coming out of the Axe-Fx is feeding this top head, which is a Mike Sodano modded 79 Marshall Mark II Master. It's got a lot of gain, it's really bright, it has a really great crunch to it, The second head down here that is being fed by that Axe FX is once again a 1979 Marshall 100 watt. This one was originally a non-master volume, but it has since been modded to have a lot of gain and a master volume by a guy named Mark Cameron. As far as speaker selection, for the stock 78 head, I'm running it into this Marshall 1960B loaded with vintage 30s. As far as the two modded heads, they are going into these Marshall, the Mode 4 series, straight 4x12s. I actually find them to have a little bit more bass response than the standard 1960s, which is cool when you're playing heavy metal. You get a little more low end on the chunks. One of these is loaded with 75 watt Celestians, and the other one is loaded with Celestian G12H 30s. That's pretty much my signal chain, and if I turn them all on and give you guys a little test, you can hear how fucking loud and beefy this thing sounds.